here back with another interview, and now I'm joined by the man himself, Mr. Joseph Weller, all the way from Brighton. Joe, first and foremost, how you been keeping, man? How's everything been working out for you during this quarantine session time we've been having?
Well, look, I think with all of us, it's been up and down. You know, there's been points where I'm like, you know what, I'm getting used to this, I can work with it. But mate, there's been points where I've literally, been rock bottom. Yeah. As you saw in that video we just spoke about that I made, where, I was like, I don't know if I can do it anymore, like be entertaining, make funny videos. And I think being limited to just being, in one place all the time, like brought that on a bit. As in like, especially with creating stuff, seeing different things, going to different places and talking to people, like in real life, is where you get a lot of inspiration from. And I obviously, all of that went. So yeah, it's been hard, but at the same time, I think everyone has sort of started to adapt now and work with it, even though, the restrictions are getting lifted and we're having a bit more freedom. But yeah, mate, overall, I am in a good place.
That's good to hear. Well, even as I can understand, as a content creator, it's definitely hard. We tend to step out of what we're doing, and even in the boxing scene, mate, like it was all go, and then all of a sudden it was just like thud. All right, stay at home, don't do nothing, and you're like, fuck, what can I do now? So I can totally understand that. I watched your podcast with KSI as well, and in all fairness, it was a really good, intriguing one. It was good to see where both of you are at as well. Nice to see you rekindle your relationship together as well. Did you take, because we've seen the transition JJ's done over the years from his FIFA videos to now he does his Reddit videos and his music. Did you take anything, because I remember you asking him sort of how he transitioned and what he did. Did you take anything away from that podcast to implement yourself?
100%. Firstly, I kept saying that throughout the whole thing. People were saying, no, you kept saying 100%. Yeah, 100% after everything. And I was like, ah. But yeah, mate, no, I actually truly did. He said, we touched on this part of while you're trying to figure out what you want to do, you may not get from A to B, like as in like B being like where you want to be, just like that. You're going to have to experiment. It's like you're not going to get to that place that you're comfortable with without trialing and failing, and some things that I will make will flop, some will go well. And I think coming to terms with that is what I previously was like, nah, everything I make has to bang, it has to be sick. I've done it before, how come it's not happening every time now? But that's part of it. You're not going to progress if you just like sit in the safety zone and do things that previously has worked. You've got to try and experiment. And I think, yeah, that's what I took away, as well as just like his attitude of the self-belief thing. He gave me some good advice, and it's easy with what we do to pay attention to what people tell, say, oh, do this, do that. Oh, you're shit now, or whatever. But you need to remember who you are and just believe. If you believe, that's your foot's already in the door to success, basically.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, actually, we're talking about your videos as of recent. What I wanted to ask you about was, what the hell were you doing with that naked poetry? What was that? What was that all about?
Naked poetry?
Wait, no, the poetry thing, bro. The painting, the one you put up about.
Yeah, that video.
What was that?
So when I was 18, I did this series where I had to try different jobs, and one of them was like around modeling. So on one hand, I was like a high fashion model doing like what they do, like high end. And the other half of the video, I was a life model for people to draw, which is obviously where you're bollock naked. So it was horrible. It was dodgy, but that was the whole part of the series. I had to be put like out of my comfort zone in these dodgy things, but it never went out. That's the thing.
That was, I'm not going to lie, that kind of put me back a bit. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Dodgy, mate.
Interesting times. Well, look, we're on Behind the Gloves, so we got to talk about boxing. In my opinion, you are the YouTube boxing guru as of late, working with Sky at the events and obviously doing all the interviews and whatnot. It's been an interesting time with, you could say the top of the tree now is the KSI versus Jake Paul fight, obviously. Yeah. Seems like there's some genuine dislike there. First of all, it looks like it's happening. Both of them seem like they're going to get it on for next year. let's start off with the basics. Where do you see that fight playing out? How do you see it playing out? We've seen obviously Jake look really good against Gibb, but even though it was a short amount of time, and we've seen JJ prevail plenty of times, even when he's had to go and dig down, he's prevailed every single time. So how do you see that fight playing out?
Well, firstly, I think in terms of where it's actually going to take place, I think JJ's going to try and push for the O2 Arena in London, which would be sick. Like, we need that. I think, DAZN are going to be launching in the UK, I think. I haven't got any secret info.
They were meant to be.
Oh, is it out? Like,
well, no, they were meant to be launching on May the 2nd with Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez, but because that got postponed, they've postponed the whole launch as well.
But yeah, so I think they're going to want to, what better way to do it than to get a whole load of, subscribers in the UK, bang. Like, I think that fits. And as JJ is the champion, so to speak, like, I think it should take place in his hometown. He did his last one in America, so that makes sense. And I think that you would have thought will play its part as well. If you got 20,000 UK fans, and we know how freaking up for it they are, like, it's unreal. So,
do you remember the press conference for? I don't know if you were there. Mate,
I've experienced it. When
well, your one, obviously as well. I'm saying that was crazy.
Well, literally, like, everyone in that room was on JJ's side, and the force of, like, what that feels like when everyone's like booing you, going nuts. You can be the most stone-faced, like, ruthless geezer, but you feel it. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's no way Jake won't feel that to some extent. Whether it will, like, affect him, I don't know. But I do feel like KSI's the man. Like, you just can't doubt him anymore. Yeah. And I think he'll, like, his team, whether it's with Vidal or not, they're going to study Jake. I think JJ is very good at learning and sticking to a game plan. Even though he does go quite wild, I think he'll know what he needs to do and he'll pull it off again. Saying that, Jake is the most promising opponent that I think JJ will have ever faced. Better than me and Logan, way better than what I think JJ's ever had to really fight against. Even in training, I think Jake is more of a, well, saying that unless JJ's gone against, like, professionals and stuff, but in terms of, like, the YouTubers, I don't think he's had a YouTuber test him like Jake has the potential to, given his demonstration that he can actually box, actually fight, and stay composed.
Well, it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. And yeah, if it does take place in the UK, I mean, I was going to say the only press conference I experienced of, like, the YouTube boxing was the KSI Logan Paul one, second fight, the press conference they've had here. And it was in somewhere in London, I can't remember. But, mate, the atmosphere was crazy. And I can completely agree with you. They would be going absolutely nuts. What I also wanted to say was, on the undercard of that fight, there's talk. Well, Mr. Gibb himself made another hype loving video about him fighting again. Obviously, he wants to definitely redeem himself after what happened in Miami. Him against Deji, that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know how to break that down, because Deji really impressed me when he did fight Jake. He just didn't, like, it felt like he didn't turn up fully. He definitely has some sort of skill set. What would you say with that fight? How would you see it going?
Yeah, so I think that one would come down to more heart. I think Gibb would win. Look, Deji's got natural skill, natural ability. I think we've seen that. But that work you have to put in training, the fact that Deji, it came out that in his last fight, he, when he had to put in the work doing cardio, he gave up. When he couldn't be bothered, he didn't, that sort of determination and resilience that you need during the training more than anything, like, Deji seemed to lack that the last time. And for a fact, I've seen Gibb does not lack that. He will do everything, especially how much, losing to Jake has affected him. He won't cut any corners, whereas I feel Deji's liable to. And Deji is good. It could go either way, but I just feel like Gibb will be able to, Deji's not going to be able to outbox Gibb in the way that Jake did. I think Jake's got this actual boxing ability to, you know, the way what he did to Gibb. Like, I just don't think Deji's got that. Yet again, though, I don't know. Time has moved on. He may have been practicing secretly and developed some new skills. But yeah, I go Gibb for that fight. Saying that though, Deji's not even answering him. He's not coming back saying.
It's funny because he made that video though as well, didn't he? He said, I'm the best YouTube boxer and all this and all that. And I was like, okay, well, answer back to Gibb then. Why is this not happening?
Innit? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get why 1 minute, 1 minute he's giving it all like the bollocks, and then someone
sparring
I'll fight you, and he goes, oh, like nothing. It's where I can't figure out. I literally just can't figure out. Deji, like, I don't.
Yeah,
like,
he's an interesting geezer for sure, but I'd like to see him back in the ring. Just going back to the KSI versus Jake Paul one, actually, you've shared the ring with both, and I know we spoke about the Jake Paul situation when we spoke last time. But in the ring, what surprised you the most out of both of them? What was the one thing that stood out? Like, it could be from either event that you did, so the sparring Jake Paul or even fighting KSI. What stood out the most from fighting both of them two?
Yeah, with KSI, just felt very strong. Felt very just like, I mean, I was weak. I was feeling already like weak going into that. And then I remember just feeling like whenever we'd get close or ever, you know, if there was ever an opportunity for me to start doing anything, JJ's just brute force and power. It just felt like you were up against a steam train, like literally. And I think Logan obviously felt that when he was like, fucking KSI, he's a dog, he's this, you know, his energy, I just couldn't get near him. And I think that's what Jake may feel like if he tries to engage with JJ or think that he can just be slick, he'll be like, I'm literally against a freaking beast here. Yeah. Whereas with Jake, in the ring with him, it was his composure. You know, I literally went there, like I hadn't touched a boxing glove since my fight. It had been like a year. And I just went there like, I'm just going to like rough him up, just fuck it, like go for it. Yeah. And every time I literally almost went to move, I'd taken like 3 shots. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, boom, boom, boom. And it was like his composure to pick shots was impressive. Yeah. And like do it so like relaxed. I thought that was quite like, yeah, that was decent.
For sure. Well, seeing as though you said about you putting the gloves on, I know you said in the interview that I briefly watched that you know, that's completely out the window.
Oh, can we see you in the ring again?
No, I don't want to even ask you like that. I'm not going to ask you like that. But I know you. I know I'm not going to ask you like that. But you, it's hard to read you sometimes because 1 minute, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get him back on, maybe, and you're like entertaining it. And the next minute, you're like, no, not at all. So is there sort of like, is there anything that you even want to do within boxing? By the way, Joe, it doesn't even have to be fighting. Like, you've got the skill to break down fights, and you're a fan of boxing. And even YouTube videos that you've done in the past about boxing. Bearing in mind, this whole YouTube boxing thing started because you made a boxing video that you enjoyed, that you thought was fun. So even going back to that, is there anything like that you want to work on in the future? It doesn't even have to be fighting.
Yeah, mate. I mean, look, I think moving forward, my thing is in like the TV element, i.e. Sky Sports. Breaking it down, debating, all of that stuff is like, I love that. That's when I'm in my element and I thrive. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be getting in the ring anytime soon, but yeah, I mean, the question is now is, will they ever entertain the idea of a YouTuber getting involved with any legit boxing? I know a lot of fans will be like, that's a disgrace. But in turn, if you're thinking about linking, you know, this audience that love YouTube boxing, if you want to convert them into watching professional boxing like properly, like having someone like myself could be that link. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's bridging the gap and making it a bit more accessible for younger fans that may not really be invested into the professional game at the moment. So if I was Sky Sports or BT Sport or whoever, I'd be like, let's get Weller in. Maybe do something on YouTube. Maybe do something. Say if they have like, as they're promoting a fight, say you got Fury Wilder next. Yeah. Have a YouTube, do like some sort of YouTube show or something that is, you know, just maybe a YouTube, just digital. Yeah. And have the likes of, you know, me, and then someone from the actual boxing world, fucking John Fury.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get onto that next. So that's funny you mentioned.
And that it's like you want the collide of worlds. You don't want just professional boxing. We've heard just professional boxing people talk and debate over and over and over again. Like, I think to have a bit of a collide of worlds, we've seen how effective that is.
Yep.
It brings in new audiences, and I think that's what they should think about doing.
Awesome. I'd definitely want to see that. I think you're completely right. It definitely adds a new element, adds more fans to watch the thing. All your fans who are, you could say, casual, maybe follow the YouTube boxing, might be like, oh, Joe's doing a show with Sky. Let me see what this fight's about. Hence, it brings in more people to view it. I've got something I want to mention to you, but I'll mention it after the interview. It kind of abides on the lines of what you just mentioned there, but I'll mention that after. Moving on to,
wait, is it like a secret opportunity that you've got?
Well, I don't know if it's for you. I don't know if it's an opportunity of any sort, because you know, in the UK YouTube scene, you've built your following, so I don't know if it's an opportunity of any sort, but there's chances. We'll put it like that. Let's move on to the world of professional boxing, or real boxing, as hardcore fans want to say. The part that you fans of Behind the Gloves have probably been waiting for and don't care about the rest of. Let's talk about it. Joshua versus Fury. They've reached an agreement for a 2-fight deal. Nothing being signed yet, but they've reached some sort of verbal agreement, and a 50-50 split for the first fight, 60-40 for the second fight. Let's get it on. How? First of all, how do you even see this one? Like, I can't break it down. It's 50-50 for me. I don't know how it's going to go.
So, Anthony Joshua is very good at adapting, right? Mm-hmm. We saw when he had to switch up his game for the Ruiz second fight, like the way he's able to stick to that. And there were points where you were like, oh, is he gonna, just let it go? Like, he stuck to it. He was disciplined, and I reckon he's learned a lot from that. Yeah. But sticking to what his trainer says and working on that can work. So he's going into this with a lot of confidence. Fury, on the other hand,
has just battered Wilder. He's just battered Wilder.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you think, how is Fury, after what he did to Wilder? And I was there. I was literally, I could not believe what I was seeing. Like, the way, and it looked like, okay, he was just hunting him down. He's just walking forward. Yeah. But it was the feints. It was what he was doing with his footwork. The like, all the little details that goes over a lot of people's heads that Fury did to completely shut down Wilder. Yeah. It's almost like you can't teach that. It's like, this guy is literally just, the way he's got this, like, it's an instinct. He wasn't having to think about it. He was just doing it. And I just can't see how he's not going to be able to figure out what he needs to do against Joshua to shut him down. Like, as in, what, if you think about it, what is, if you were going to go, AJ, right, let's right now think, how the fuck do you beat Fury, given that we now know that he can come forward, he can, be the aggressor? I
gotta kind of think about it like this as well. For me, what's interesting is Deontay Wilder moving back, right? I hate to say it, and I've got an opinion, so I'll put it like this. Going back, he can't really fight well. He can't. He doesn't. His power's not the same. He can't sort of elevate the punch to let go, and his power punch, he can't do it. And we've seen numerous times, not just in the Fury fight, by the way, in the Ortiz fight, even against Eric Molina when he fought him, there was times when every time he got backed up, he couldn't actually throw the punch, and he just looked odd. So when Fury did that, I don't want to take anything away from what Fury did, but he did it against Deontay Wilder. Now, the question is, can he do it against Anthony Joshua, who can actually move around, and showed in the last fight that the geezer can fucking fight. He'll move and dance for 12 rounds as well.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, that's where, I think AJ's more and more... off the back of the Ruiz fight, I almost feel like, okay, AJ's not going to dive in, because he won the last fight without going, diving in. He danced around and he won on points. It's like, if he goes with that sort of tactic against Fury, he's going to get schooled. Like, as in, how could he, fair enough against Ruiz doing that dancing around and using the jab, you're not going to be able to do that against Fury. Yeah. And it's like, I question, has AJ, has he got a part of his brain that is almost, like when you touch a kettle and you get burnt, you're like, I'm not going to fucking do that again. Yeah. From where he's like dived in against Ruiz and got sparked out, and even against Klitschko a little bit when he was letting his hands go, he got gassed and got caught and stuff. is that like his kettle that he's touched and he's like, fuck, I've learned from that now not to do that again. I'm not going to do it. And is him diving in and going for punches and going for the finish? Does he have reluctancy to do that now? Are we going to see that, you know, he's only going to sort of try and do the minimum to get the win, and against Fury, is that enough to win?
No, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think the AJ is going to have to engage if he's going to beat Fury. He's not going to be able to just win on points. And at that point, does he have the skill to outmaneuver Fury?
It's got to be, in my opinion, it's got to be blow for blow in some sense, because moving back, like you said, or boxing, you know, it's kind of hard to bet against Fury, because he's probably the best heavyweight boxer that the boxing world has seen, period. Like you've never seen since Ali anyway, but even someone that big, bro, he's 6'9". Have you stood next to the geezer? He's huge.
Yeah.
He's massive.
I was literally like, wow.
How do you move around when you're that big and that heavy? I can't comprehend that in my head. But anyway, if someone like that is kind of hard to beat. But for Joshua, what I always say is, the guy is literally what you said, the best adapter in the game, in my opinion. When he was in the amateurs, he overcame losing in the worlds to go win the Olympics. In the pros, he with minimum amateur experience, in sense of he wasn't an amateur for years and years. He did win Olympic, but he wasn't there for years. He came into the pros. He fought a good, solid, even if you want to label him journeyman, good, solid journeyman who had been there numerous times. Within his 15th fight, he's fighting a British title fight against Dylan White. And ever since then, he's adapted to every single fighter he had to fight. Even the Ruiz one, people say, oh, maybe he was too reluctant to go in. But if you watch it back, like, if that was the perfect game plan. Ruiz is probably one of the best inside fighters in the game right now. You don't want to be engaging with Ruiz. So it goes to show that he definitely can adapt. And against Tyson Fury, it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts, because how the fuck do you adapt to Tyson Fury? That's the question. Moving on, there's obviously been, sticking with Anthony Joshua actually, there's been a lot going on, and I've voiced my opinion on this as well. I'll mention it as well if you want. But he was at a Black Lives Matter protest, peaceful protest. He said a few things which ruffled a few people. Personally, I didn't see a problem with it. I thought, you know, it was a way he was saying something, and you can take it out of context. Do you know what I'm talking about, by the way?
I watched the speech, and I remember thinking, after seeing, you know, reports of, oh, it's racist, like AJ's being racist.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Like, I was like, wait, what? What were the points, like the specific points that like caused this? Yeah. Like, whatever. What was it?
It was, so what he said was, I'm trying to think exactly what the point was. So he moved from, we should peacefully protest and not use this to you know, do bad things, i.e. looting. He didn't mention like that. I'm not wording it correctly, but that's sort of the subject. Then he went on to saying we should hit them where it hurts, something like that, and mentioning basically the facts that don't spend your money in their shops, invest in black-owned businesses and black-owned businesses. So invest your money into black-owned businesses and don't invest your money in their businesses. Now, a lot of white people have taken offense to that, thinking he's saying don't invest your money in white businesses, invest your money in black businesses. First of all, they didn't say that. There was a subject of racist people, right? Racist organizations that you may know of. The whole protest was against racism. It wasn't against white people. So that's why I thought, okay, you could literally take that out and say, oh, he's saying don't spend your money in white businesses. Do you think that can come across racist?
It's classic. It's what everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are doing at the moment. It's like, how can we find a way to like fuck over? Like, everyone's trying to take the moral high ground. So it's like where like other companies, like there's a ride, a roller coaster or something in Disneyland that's got a racial connotation that they're like, oh, fucking Disney, and then
what, really?
Like, yeah.
What ride is this?
Splash Mountain. I was listening to a podcast. Basically, you're seeing like companies, celebrities, all of this Like, where can we pick them apart to show that they're the bad guys? Or it's just like, why are we all trying to do this thing of, like, even I'm getting shit from, like, obviously my World Cup song, which I appreciate. Was
what a tune. No, what a tune. What a tune. What a tune.
For the music video, like, that was like not thought through very well.
Okay.
And yeah, everyone's getting backlash for stuff that they've done, or you know, getting what their words like, oh, you must be meaning this and whatever, for whatever reason. But look, we know what AJ, you know, if you've got a fucking brain, you know what AJ's trying to say here.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that, yeah, support the culture, support black businesses.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean, it's like when Stormzy made the what was it, the education
course, yeah.
For black people, and it was like, oh, it's anti-white. It's not pro-black. It's anti. Like, they were trying to flip that like it's racist. It was like, no, and I don't know why they do this. It's like, it's pathetic. It is pathetic, and I think, like, when someone is supporting, like AJ coming out to a park. He's big AJ, millionaire, whatever. Yeah. He came out to a park to support a positive movement.
Yeah.
Let's applaud. You know, say, well, not applaud, but say, like, look, mate, respect. Like, obviously, like with all of us, we shouldn't be. You know, it should be standard that we're all getting behind this. It's not something to, like, applaud and say, well done. Like, it should be standard for all of us. Yeah. But that should be the focus, the positive movement. Not let's find out the little loophole where we can flip it like he's a bad guy. Yeah. Like, that's just what nerds do, mate. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Well, no, it was quite pathetic. And you know what? I said this as well, and I don't think I've said it on the channel, but I've voiced my opinion on social media. If there's a community that needs uplifting, right, it's the black community. Why? Because every single day, somewhere in the world, they are getting discriminated. They are getting looked down upon. Police violence. Like, it's every day, right? Yeah. So why is it so wrong? Even if he did say, you know, you're black, invest in your black-owned businesses, period. Even if he did say that, why is that such a bad thing when the positive thing is they should be uplifting themselves. They should be helping themselves to be better people, to advance in life. Why is that such a bad thing?
Yeah, like, and that's it. It's like the same thing of the whole, like, all lives matter, not just black lives.
Exactly.
You're missing the point.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I saw a good analogy for it. It was like, oh, someone died. Okay, when cancer's a problem, right? To cancer, and it's like, you know, people that are like, let's cancer. Let's focus on that and how we can help it. And someone turning around and going, no, all illnesses matter. It's like, nah, but this is the one that needs to focus. This is the one that we're like uplifting in this specific moment. Granted, those other things do matter, and we'll take on them as well. But, you know, it's not white people that are suffering. It's specifically the black culture that needs uplifting.
Yeah.
So let's all get together and get behind that.
Yeah.
You know, I made a YouTube video on it talking about how I feel towards the whole thing, about how if we all give each other the same opportunities and all gave each other the chance to be a human being, then the world would be a much happier place. This YouTube video, right, marked it down instantly as unsuitable, completely suppressed it from getting any views. It literally it's my worst performing video in about 7 years.
What?
And that's why I'm like, it's fucking YouTube almost. Like, that's like, YouTube will promote, if you're talking about some bollocks viral trend, they'll put that on their homepage. But the second you address a topic in an actual, like, a legit way that can actually benefit people, unsuitable. We're going to mark that down and make sure it gets no views. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
That's fucked. That's absolutely fucked up. Yeah, it's just... It's fucked. It's fucked. I can't even get my head around it. That I saw that within some of my posts as well. I don't know how the algorithm works on every app, but definitely noticed that. And a few people were mentioning that themselves, like when they were promoting, you know, certain charities that was against, you know, racial inequalities and whatnot. They weren't getting the traction like they should be getting. But it's just let's just hope that 2020. By the end of 2020, we can come out of this zombie movie that we're living in, because it's just by the day there's something new, and it's beyond me now. I can't even comprehend what's going on anymore. But All right, so we're reaching towards the end of the interview, but I wanted to do, inspired by the man himself, KSI, I wanted to take a few things he was doing on his videos and sort of adapt it to today's interview. We've got two little subjects that we're going to talk about. First one is your songs, seeing as though you mentioned it just a bit ago. You've had plenty of music videos over the years. Yeah. You've had the infamous Kitty song, the infamous World Cup song, and obviously your new tune. Just let the people know where they can find out a bit of drum and bass as well.
Yes, mate. Yeah, no, that was a bit of a funny one. Like, I had this drum and bass track idea. I was like, fuck it, messing around with it. Worked on it with a few mates, and yeah, just released it. It hasn't got like any words or anything, and I obviously expected it to not hit like the mainstream, like some of my other songs are more catered towards. But yeah, like it was a fun little thing. I wouldn't mind, like hearing it fucking live, mixed in with like in my eyes, I've got like a Drake song that the DJ's like busting, and then he remixes it into that. I think that would be cool. But yeah, I'd like to hear it in a club. It's not really one that's for just like casual listening, but yeah, mate, it was fun to make.
DJs, if you're hearing this, if you ever see Joe Weller at a club, make sure to remix his tune. All right, so what we're going to do is I want you to rank your top 5 songs, 5th to 1st. Just go for it. Name me your top 5 songs from 5th to 1st.
Okay, so all right, we're gonna go. I'm actually gonna start with number 1 because it's gonna be easier. So number 1, I'm actually gonna go with "Wanna Do." That was
I like that
house track. I just think it's the best one. It's the most like one that's like, yeah. And this is the thing that I found with a lot of stuff that I've made. Like, the first thing that I make of that, so not just music but videos. Like my first haunted video, I like the best. My first internet melts sort of videos, I like the best. It's like, yeah, and that was the first house song that I made, and yeah, I just like that the best. So we'll go with that first. Then Kitty.
Oh, what a fucking tune! I want to blast out now. If I blast it out now, would I get copyright? I don't want to risk the copyright. But Kitty, what a tune! Go check.
It is a good little banger. I mean, it's a fucking outrageous one. I don't know what's going through my head. Actually, I fully do. Like, that is the sort of like dodgy stuff I like. Yeah, I get up to. But yeah, so that was number 2. Number 3, I'll go with World Cup song. I think that was a big one. That was I spent
that one banged the most in it. I think, from what I remember, it was quite viral at the time.
Yeah. I mean, on YouTube, 21 million views, which is like, yeah, decent. So that was good. I spent every penny I had to my name. This was right at the beginning of my career. Spent every penny I had to go to Brazil and film the music video. Wow. And that was like, yeah.
Seriously, every penny you had, you just invested into that.
Like, fuck this. This is gonna bang. I had the vision.
Wow.
And,
awesome.
Yeah, luckily it did, which is good. And then we'll go with Dark Paradise. That's done really well. Like, that's still doing really well. Like, another house sort of dance summary song. And then in number 5, I will go with
Malfoy. Come
on. I'll go with let's go with the new drum and bass one. It sounds different. Yeah, let's put that there. All right,
top 5. There you go. Top 5. Go check them out if you're not familiar with Mr. Weller's music. Second part, and this one's going to be interesting. It might even catch a few people's. It might even go a little bit viral depending on who you place in the positions.
Are you going to ask me to do a tier list for YouTube boxing?
Let's go, Chip! Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
What's this video going to be titled?
Oh no!
Boxing tier list.
No, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a simple one. Okay, so what I've got is I've made it easy for you. I've picked 9 fighters, right, who I think are top 9. You can add in the 10th, okay? And this goes in whether they've done the pro boxing, amateur boxing, and it doesn't even matter how many fights they've had. So these are the fighters I've got. I've got JJ, yourself, Logan, and bro, you started it, bro. Come on, you've had a few fights. Let's put you in there. Logan and Jake, Gib and Deji, Adam Saleh. I think he's pretty decent. Salah.
Yeah, like Mo Salah.
Okay, Mo Salah, Adam Salah, Faye Sensei, and JMX. Those are the 9 I've got. So if you want to add in a 10th, is there an honourable mention for you?
Okay. Deji, Jake Paul.
I've mentioned them. So I've mentioned.
Wait, can you put them in the chat so I can sort of visualize them? I'll quickly. Yeah, I think that'd be good.
So I'll show you like that. Is that easier? Just to show you. Can you see it?
Hold it up. Yeah, right. All right, bottom. God. It's me,
shaking.
isn't it? It's me, mate. Right, so in number 10, we've got Weller. Right, it's not me lacking confidence. It's me just being fucking realistic, all right? So we got me at the bottom of the league, and then, oh shit, mate, your phone's gone off. Right. Hold it a bit closer. Right, here we go. Okay, and then we've got Deji, Gibb, I haven't really seen Adam Salah, but are we going pound for pound or who would win? Okay, then I'm going Adam Salah.
Okay.
Then I'm going Logan Paul. Then I'm going fucking, I don't know. Then I'm going JMX. Oh, it's gone off again. Then I'm going JMX. I think he's really good. Then I'm going.
My bad. Hold on.
Oh, the big one is whether it's Jake Paul or KSI. Oh, I think FaZe Sensei's up the top. Yeah, FaZe Sensei's sick. I think he'd smash them all. Then, Jake, basically, yeah, battle for second and third is Jake Paul and KSI.
Okay. And you can add one more in?
Until they fight, fuck knows.
No, they're literally side by side.
You'd say KSI second and Jake Paul third as it stands. As it stands, KSI second to FaZe Sensei. I think that's fair.
So, well, it's FaZe number one?
Oh, yeah. Mate, he's fucking sick.
Yeah, FaZe is really good. I've seen, he fought, was it once or twice?
I don't know, but I remember, mate, so when I was commentating, he fucking, to end the fight, he wandered over to our commentary table mid-fight. Mid-fight, goes, watch this. I'm going to finish him with a liver shot. Ready? Liver shot. Walks over. Bang. Pops it. Wow. Knocked him down. I was like, that is sick. But overall, he's a fighter. He's done it, like, a lot longer than, like, you know, these YouTube guys. And I think he is, credible as number one.
For sure. Get me in there. I want to fight. I want to fight one of these guys. Get me in there. I want Adam Saleh, mate. Where is he at? Where's he at? He's about my weight. I could have a go.
He's quite small, isn't he?
Yeah. I've heard.
I'm not saying you're small, lad. I'm saying you're massive. But
mate, have you seen the guns? Mate, have you seen the guns? Mate, if I have you in my corner, you can coach me, and we'll be the new.
I'll be the psychologist coach, which I think every sports star, fighter should have. Like, you have a strength and conditioning coach, your boxing coach. I think mental coach is key. I definitely could have done with one of them when I was training. And
Are you gonna make me listen to White Noise?
Fucking load of bollocks, that one. Definitely not. I've learned. That's the thing. I've learned a lot on what you should and shouldn't do.
For sure. But Joe, I want to just say thank you for your time. I've taken up a lot of your time today. We've covered a lot. Any final words to anyone watching?
Just hang in there, guys. Like, it's difficult times. I mean, not knowing where or when, like, everything's going to get back to normal it can be hard. But just, like, keep it basic. Like, stick to a routine. Eat well. Train if that helps as well. But like, stick with it. We're going to get through this.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.